Good morning and welcome to day 42 of Geriatric 1944's Coronavirus Diaries. Today I want to talk about communication, or more specifically the internet. I'm not going to go into the coronavirus thing again, except to say we had yesterday afternoon an incredible post from a regular poster here on King of Hits, who lives in South Korea. And he actually posted a really intelligent, articulate and interesting post on the coronavirus situation and how it had been dealt with alternately in South Korea and the UK. I would urge you to go online and read it on kingofhits.com under, I think it's in the Your Views section as South Korea. Scroll down there and you'll read quite a long piece, but it's incredibly fascinating. The internet has got some marvellous things about it. It's also got some appalling things about it. And as you well know, I blame it and the rest of the media for the whole coronavirus madness, which started as hype because all the media, be it the mainstream media, newspapers, television, BBC, or here on social media, all we care about is a good story. Is this going to be a good story? Is it going to provide clickbait? Will people read it? More essentially, because in many cases, will people read it, see it, watch it, hear it? And as a result, will we get more advertising revenue, or will we get more license fee revenue? Will we get ratings? Will we get circulation increase? But the good thing about the internet, or many good things about the internet, are things like the ability to see the other side of things. And hearing how South Korea dealt with this is fascinating. That's why I urge you to read that post. The internet has always been useful, and funnily enough, the police, Surrey police, vile, ghastly Surrey police, were well aware of this when they brought the recent case against me in 2018. As they went in front of the judge, they tried everything to stop me being online, and they succeeded. To start with, they got the judge to say that she was going to send me to prison if I kept on talking to the press. Now, by talking to the press, what she meant and what the police had alerted her to was that every morning going into the court, I posed on the steps for all the photographers. There were about 40 or 50 paparazzi and photographers there, all waiting for a photograph or to take some photographs of me. The least you can do as a decent human being is stop and allow them a few moments to take your photographs. But I did worse than that, and this is why I almost had to go to prison. I said good morning to them. Appalling. And the police complained to the judge, who snapped, "You must not communicate with the media." Then they did it again. They found on my King of Hits site some photos I'd taken of the food I was eating, which is still I do on a regular basis. And underneath one of the plates of food, there was the very tiniest corner of a piece of paper with about 4 or 5 letters on it. And from those 4 or 5 letters, the police deduced, wrongly as it happened, that these were documents that applied to the case in which I was being tried, and was totally acquitted, by the way, when the whole trial fell apart and I was declared not guilty. But they put in front of the judge the fact that these pieces of paper were there and I was displaying information that was only allowed to be heard in court to the public as a whole. Well, the judge was furious. Again, she very nearly sent me to prison, and she banned me from using the internet in any way. I could go on it and read it, but I was not allowed to actually post on it in any way. So for the 3 or 4 weeks of the trial, I couldn't go on the internet at all. Surrey police were quite right to do that because they're well aware of the fact that the internet is an incredible, useful tool for somebody who needs to prove their innocence. Now, it's very hard to prove you didn't do something 50 years ago. But the internet is a major asset if you need to do that, because people log on all the time who actually can give evidence that certain things never happened, that certain people were doing different things, that certain people, the false accusers specifically, but also the police and the lawyers and so on, had certain other interests. There's been a recent whole thing about Cardinal George Pell that's been fascinating. And I found stuff on the internet there that has just opened my eyes about the witch hunt that was going on behind him. So it can be incredibly useful. So I'm thoroughly in favour of the internet, despite the fact that it has some horrendous faults and flaws to it. Overall, the benefits are massive. My site has now existed on the internet for, about 25 years. We started it in the middle 90s. And many people came on initially to plug or to mention great music and spread the word of great music, which it really did. Numerous hit records and hit stars and artists who would be anonymous now and nobody would ever have heard of them if we hadn't championed them and promoted them originally in the 80s in Entertainment USA and No Limits, but later on in the tip sheet and on my kingofhits.com site. So it was a terrific thing then. And then as events changed for me, it slowly became more interesting in general points, specifically about the false allegations industry. I've retained the photo of me in my wig on here because I wanted to go out with the music that I made and actually released on a single with me in the multicoloured wig on the front, which I thought was interesting, but it was very much connected to the internet and what they now call clickbait. I called it then hooks, and I was taught it by Sonny Bono. Remember Sonny and Cher? Well, Sonny worked, as did Scott Walker, with Phil Spector, my great hero of a record producer. And one of the things he taught them that they told me about was hooks. And that is, in the first few seconds of a record, you've got to get something in which makes the listener go, what's that? I want to hear more. And then you've got to put more in the song so they go, I want to hear even more. This is really interesting. And then when the song finishes, they go, do you know what? I must hear that again because it was really interesting what they did there. My ideal hook probably was the hook I put into Hooked on a Feeling. Ooga jagga, ooga, ooga, ooga jagga, ooga, ooga. A sort of grunted reggae rhythm that started the track off and came during the track and was an incredible hook. So here for you, to finish my diary today, is my song which I recorded about being the king of the hooks. And the track is called King of the Hooks. See you tomorrow.
We're the unsung heroes of this thing called rock and roll. We stick around behind the scenes while front life takes its toll. Steve Barry put his bass drum where it had never gone before. In the middle of all those grassroots, Mama Cass and Tommy Rowe. Jeff Barry used acoustic guitars when Neil Diamond didn't know what they was, and you screamed to the sound of Bobby Crew before my eyes adored you. You got chords, you got notes, but when I'm the king of the hooks, you know you got votes. You got chords, you got notes, but when I'm the king of the hooks, you know you got votes. All your feet came off the ground when you heard the Spectre sound. And over in England the man with the most was always first past the post. I took you on a trip to the moon and gave you Genesis a little too soon, but I found you the Rollers in 10cc, so I reckon the prize belongs to me. Ooga jagga, ooga, ooga, ooga jagga, ooga, ooga. I'm not in love.